This show is produced by the Harwood Podcast Network.
Hi, I'm Cindy Harris, and we love making this show available to you free of charge. If you'd like to help us keep it that way, make a contribution to our Karma Jar or become a show sponsor. To learn more, visit our website. Well, tonight I'm making pizza. I'd gotten a number of emails from viewers asking if I could show how to make pizza dough. Well, I had to take it all the way, and I'm not only showing you how to make the dough, but a great sauce and a lot of great different toppings that you can put on top. Pizza dough is usually a yeast dough, so that's what we're going to be making. I'm going to be making mine in my KitchenAid using my dough hook, but you could also make this just in a bowl with a nice sturdy wooden spoon if you'd like. The first thing we want to do is get 3 cups of flour measured out. Now, as always, I like to lighten my flour by stirring it with a knife, and then we're going to dip and level and put that into our bowl. Next, we're going to put in some dry yeast. Now, in the United States, they sell these in these little sachets, and one package is 2 1/4 teaspoons of active dry yeast. I'm going to add that to my flour, along with 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt. Now, I'm going to put my dough hook on. If you're using a wooden spoon, you're going to want to take a moment and mix those dry ingredients together. Next comes our wet ingredients, and the first one is 1 1/4 cups of water. Now, you will need to get your instant read thermometer out. We need the water to be at 110 degrees. I'll pour that into my flour mixture, along with 1 tablespoon of olive oil. And that's going to give this dough a real nice richness. Now I'm going to lower my dough hook and I'm going to start beating this. I want to see the dough starting to come together. Now you can see the dough is coming together. And I'm going to turn the machine off and pull the dough off the hook. And then I'm going to take, and I have my board here, and I'm going to flour it pretty generously with some flour. And then I'm going to pull the dough out of the bowl. Now it's going to be kind of sticky, but that's all right. And I also like to put a little flour on top. And then I'm going to bring this together. Now we're just going to knead this until the dough is nice and soft and elasticy. Now when you knead dough, it's really kind of done mostly with one hand, and then you turn the dough with your other hand. So here it is. I'm going to take with my right hand, I'm going to put it in the palm of my hand, and I'm going to press it down like this. Then I'm going to take my other hand and I'm going to turn the dough 1/4 turn, flip this end back up on itself towards me, take my hand, press that down, rotate it, bring it towards me, press it out, and you just keep doing this. Now the machine has done most of the kneading for me. If you're doing this all by hand using a bowl and a wooden spoon, you'll probably have to do a little bit more kneading than this. But you can already start to see that this dough is getting really nice and smooth. It's not sticky at all, and it's really, really beautiful, nice and elasticy, just like this. Now we have to let our dough rise for just a little bit. So I just have a medium-sized bowl, and in it I'm just going to put a drizzle of olive oil. I just want to lightly oil the inside of the bowl, and I'm just going to use my hand, kind of move that around. And then I'm going to take the pizza dough, I'm going to put it top side down, and then I'm going to drag it up because I want just the thinnest coat of oil on the very top, and then I'll set it down like this. Then I have a clean kitchen towel that I'll lay on top. Now we need to let this rise for about 45 minutes. But here's the deal. You need to have it in a warm place. So see if your house has a nice sunny window, or if you're running a load of laundry and the dryer area is nice and warm, wherever you have. Now today I don't have a warm area, and many times what I do is I use my microwave as a proofing box, and if you go back to some of our other shows on the Daily Bread, you'll see how I do that. Real quickly, what I do, in my microwave, I have 1 cup of water, and I've microwaved it for 1 minute so it's nice and hot. You can even see the steam. I'm going to put that in the back corner of the microwave, and then I'm going to take my dough and I'm going to put that right in the microwave, not turn it on or anything, but close the door and let it sit in there for about 45 minutes. That's going to create this nice little proofing box, and it'll be the perfect environment for the yeast to rise. So while my dough is rising, it's the perfect time for me to get all my toppings ready. Now I'm going to make a quick tomato sauce. So in a small saucepan over medium heat, I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of olive oil and 2 cloves of minced garlic. And once the garlic starts to sizzle, I have a 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes. I'm going to add that. And then I've chopped up 2 tablespoons of fresh basil and 1 tablespoon of fresh oregano. And then I'm going to put a healthy pinch of salt. And I'll stir this up, and I'm going to let this just simmer for about 15 minutes. Now tonight I'm going to be making a sausage pizza. So to get the sausage ready, I've got a pound of Italian sausage that I'm going to fry up in my pan. And you want to make sure that the sausage is cooked all the way through. Once it's nice and browned, I do like to drain that oil off. So I have a plate with some paper towel, and I'm just going to put that all on there and get all that extra oil off. So it's been 45 minutes and our dough has risen beautifully. Now we're going to go ahead and form it into our pizza crust. Now there's a couple of options that you have for this. If you want to do sort of a Chicago style deep dish pizza, you can basically get a 9x13 pan like this. I'd put a little bit of olive oil in the bottoms and the sides, and you'd take this dough and just press it in here and do your sauce and toppings. You could put it on a baking sheet and cook it that way. You could certainly press the dough out onto a cold pizza stone, or you can do what I'm going to do. I'm going to be using a pizza stone. In fact, it's in the oven right now, preheating with my oven. It's very important that we get our oven nice and hot, 450 degrees. This is a really generous bit of dough. In fact, this is way more than just 1 pizza. I would use it for actually 2. So I'm going to take my bench scraper here and I'm going to cut the dough in half, and I'm going to set 1/2 of it just back in the bowl for right now. And I want to make sure I have a nice dusting of flour here. Now with this, I could also cut this probably into each half into 3 additional pieces, so I could make, say, 6 personal size pizzas if I wanted to, but that's totally up to you. So let me show you how we're going to go about shaping our pizza. The first thing we want to do is get the dough into a circle, and you want to use your fingertips to kind of press it out till it's about 1/4 inch thick. Now because this is a yeast bread, it's going to puff up in the oven. Now once it's about that thickness, I'm going to take and I'm going to hold my hand in the center, and I'm going to grab the edge and I'm going to stretch this out just like this. Now in pizza parlors, you might actually see the guys making the pizza twirling the dough and flipping it around. Of course, I do not know how to do that, but I can sort of stretch it out. With pizza, you do want to stretch it. That's just about 12 inches in diameter. Now that the pizza is stretched out, I'm going to take my sauce And I'm going to spoon some sauce on. Of course, the great thing about pizza is you can put on as much or as little as you want. Now this extra sauce, I'm just going to let this cool down, and I can either put it in the refrigerator or I can put it in the freezer and then just use it the next time I make a pizza. Next, I've grated a bunch of mozzarella cheese. So I'm going to take and just sprinkle that all over the top. I like to think of the cheese as like a bed for all the toppings. Now here's where you get to be creative. There are loads of different ways that you can top a pizza besides just making it cheese like this. In fact, I'm going to have some variations on the website so that if you want to try something a little different, you can. Tonight I am going to be taking my Italian sausage. I'm going to sprinkle that on the top. And this is another one of the great things about making your own pizza at home. You get to put as much of whatever you want on top as you'd like. You don't have to worry about only so many toppings. You get to do whatever you want. For a little color, I've chopped up some red bell pepper, so I'm going to sprinkle that on top. Now, like I said, the mozzarella cheese was the bed for the topping, but you have to have some kind of cheese on top. And this is where I put the Parmesan cheese. So you can use whatever kind of Parmesan cheese you like. I'm using a shaved Parmesan because that's what I had in the refrigerator, but you could certainly use grated or shredded. It doesn't matter. Again, use as much as you'd like. And the last thing that I always do when I make a pizza is I get some ground oregano and I just do a light dusting on top. Now, before we put this in the oven, I've got my cornmeal out. That's what I'm going to dust the pizza stone with before I slide the pizza actually in on it. Now, it's time to get my pizza stone out of the oven. Careful not to touch it. It's really, really hot. I'm going to take and just do a sprinkling of cornmeal right on top of it. And now I'm going to take my pizza. Now I have a large spatula. You may have a pizza peel or just a regular spatula to kind of help you slide this off. And then this is going to bake in the oven for about 12 minutes till it's nice and bubbly. Now sliding the pizza onto the pizza stone can be kind of tricky if you don't have a pizza peel, which is one of those big boards, or a big spatula like I have. So I did want to show you by using a baking sheet or cold pizza stone how you can also do this. I'm going to take my baking sheet. This is totally cool. I'm going to sprinkle it with cornmeal. And I'm going to take my pizza dough and I'm just going to flour it just a little bit in my hand. And I'm going to take it, I'm going to press it out just like I did the other one till it's about 1/4 of an inch thick. And then again, I'm going to hold my hand and just kind of stretch it out until it gets to be about 12 inches. Now this is a really great make-ahead thing that you can do, and I'm actually going to do this tonight. I don't need a second pizza for dinner tonight, but I would like to have the dough pre-cooked, almost like a boboli, which is a pre-cooked pizza shell that we can buy here in the United States. So when I pull my other pizza out, I'll show you how I'll bake this one off. Now after just 12 minutes, our pizza comes out. It's beautifully browned and delicious looking. And like I said, I'm now going to bake this one off, so I'm going to pop it right into the oven for 7 minutes. And when you do take the pizza off the pizza stone, you are going to want to get some kind of spatula and just slide it right on off to a cutting board. And here is the shell. And you'll see it's not baked all the way through. It's not even really brown on the bottom, but it's baked just enough that if you let this cool, you can then slide it onto a pizza stone or onto a baking sheet and go ahead and do all of your toppings. So as you can see, making pizza is a lot of fun to do at home, and there's a number of ways you can do it, whether you want to use a pizza stone, a baking sheet, making a deep dish pizza, and even if you want to pre-bake your pizza crusts and top them and put them in the oven later on, you can totally do that. Now, if you'd like to give this pizza a try at home, I have the dough, the sauce, a bunch of different topping ideas, and how you can pre-cook the pizza shell on our website. So just go to the Daily Bread show notes and it'll all be there for you. And as always, if you have any questions for me, please send me an email. I'll see you next time.